Testing, 1, 2, 3.
I can just wish
Good.
everybody welcome and introduce
Do
them.
that. Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. It's such a pleasure to have you here to this press conference. Since we believe that we have a very important message to come to share with you. We just went through a conference for the Dutch Caribbean airports. And I'm very pleased to have around the table here today all of the CEOs of the 6 airports. We are missing one, unfortunately, yes.
Yes, they share.
But I will ask everybody to introduce themselves, and then we will take you through the conference and the next step in improving the connectivity between the islands, making sure that that progression or that development is sustainable and more sustainable than what it is today, and that we make whatever we can to get reasonable pricing for tickets between the Dutch Caribbean islands. I would like to introduce, first of all, our chairman, Mr. Joost Mees, the CEO of Aruba Airport.
Yes, thank you very much for being here. My name is Joost Mees. In daily life, I'm the CEO of Aruba Airport, but also functioning as the chair of the Dutch Caribbean Corporation of Airports. And I think after the introduction, I would like to have 5 minutes to share some background and how we have reached to this moment. Maarten.
Good morning, bon dia. Maarten van der Scheer, CEO of Bonaire International Airport, also known as Flamingo Airport. Really happy to be here with my colleagues from the Dutch Caribbean airports, and looking forward to tell you more about affordable, sustainable, efficient inter-island connectivity. Maybe first over to Brian.
Yes, good morning. I'm from Sister Island, St. Martin, half Dutch, half French. My name is Brian Mingo, and I'm the CEO of Airport St. Martin, also known as Princess Juliana International Airport.
Good morning, bon dia everyone. I am Megan Hassel, the airport manager of the Juancho Erskine Airport, known as the Saba Airport. It's a pleasure to be here. I think we've had a successful conference for the past 2 days, and we're enlightened to share more with you.
Yeah. And maybe I should introduce myself too. I forgot to mention my name. For those who doesn't know me in Curaçao, I'm Johnny Anderson. I'm the airport manager from Curaçao Airport. Joost, please.
Yeah, I would like to also introduce the program manager, who has done an amazing job leading the task force with representatives of all the islands in the last 8-9 months, and who has delivered yesterday, the day before yesterday, the joint strategic plan in a draft format to all the attendees of the convention. So, Joanne, maybe
Good morning, bon dia. My name is Joanne Christians, and I am the program manager, like Joost mentioned, for the task force. And indeed, last Monday, we presented the preliminary draft of the joint strategic plan on behalf of all the participants and signatories of the MOU. And and our joint strategic plan is now currently in the evaluation and review phase at all the stakeholders. So once we complete that consultation round, we will be excited to publicize the document and share it with all of you.
All right, a little bit more background about the DCCA, the Dutch Caribbean Corporation of Airports, that established in 2021, 3 years ago from now. All the CEOs of the 6 Dutch Caribbean islands are represented in that association. It is an association. And it was established in 2021 with the purpose to exchange information, to help each other to make the other airports, or all the airports in the Dutch Caribbean, better in quality, better in safety, better in managing big infrastructural projects. We are all in a situation that we run an international airport who need to comply with international standards in small communities, island communities. And it is fantastic to see that you can use knowledge built up in Sint Maarten or in Seba, for example, to improve the airport in Curaçao or in Aruba or in Sint Bonaire. That was the whole meaning. So we are doing, for example, safety audits at the other airports, and we are sharing one big dream. We have one big ambition defined back in 2021, and it was the ambition to improve the inter-island connectivity. On 3 aspects, Maarten said it already, we would like to make it more affordable over time, we would like to make it more efficient, and above all, we would like to make it more sustainable over time. And if I give you a little bit background of those 3 pillars, I think you and I will all live on one of the islands, and if you travel to another sister island, you come to the conclusion easily that it costs you a lot of money if you compare it with international flights to, for example, Colombia or to the US or to Europe. For my own experience, I can tell you that I paid $326 for my round trip from Aruba to Curaçao and back to Aruba again. That's a lot of money. That is the first thing that we would like to improve over time, together with all the stakeholders. Not only the airlines here are to blame, it is also a responsibility of the airports themselves and also of the government. We need the governments also to bring over time the cost lower, to lower the cost a little bit towards a reasonable level. The inefficiency is also there, right? We would like to improve the efficiency. If you travel from one island to another sister island, you need, for example, Aruba, Curaçao, to take that example again, you are 25 minutes in the air, but you need to be at the airport 60, 65, sometimes 75 minutes prior to your flight, already on the airport, to check all the boxes of the airport process, including the exit and entry requirements that you need to pass, traveling from one island, which is in country, to another island, which is another country. And that does not sound efficient, right? For a 25-minute flight, 70 minutes logistical time needed at the airport. And we would like to make that over time more in proportion to the air time. And the third element is to make it more sustainable. Sustainability in general, I think, is the next chapter in aviation. And the Dutch Caribbean islands are perfectly positioned to be a front runner in the new segment in aviation, that is electric aviation. That's, of course, not today or tomorrow, but we were briefly briefed in the last 2 days that it is closer than you think. It's a matter of years, and it's not a matter of decades, and not even more than 5 years, I guess. Why are the Dutch Caribbean islands so perfectly positioned to be a front runner, to become a front runner in electric aviation? That has to do with the distances between the islands. It's very close, right? And there's an overload of sun and wind here. Potentially, we can charge electric aircrafts with our own solar and wind energy, which we generate every day here on the islands. So potentially, we are in a situation here, in a setting here, in an environment here, that we can be a front runner in the introduction of the new segment called electric aviation. We are not there yet, of course. We assigned from that dream, from that ambition that we had, that was launched in last year in the first edition of the same event, which took place in Aruba. We shared the dream or the ambition with all the shareholders to improve the inter-island connectivity on those three aspects. But yeah, sharing a dream and ambition, what is the plan then? So we assigned a task force, represented with representatives of all the islands, and they started to work on preparing a plan. And that plan was delivered the day before yesterday in the during the second edition of the same event, which took place here in Curaçao. And before we continue further, I would like again to take the opportunity to thank the whole Curaçao team, Curaçao Airport team, for hosting us here this time. And I can also inform you that the next event will take place at our sister island, St. Martin, organized by Brian and his team. That is, I think, a brief introduction where we come from and our shared ambition to improve the inter-island connectivity on the aspects of affordability, efficiency, and sustainability, and that we have launched the plan. The plan is still in draft, by the way. It has not been adopted by all the stakeholders. There are many stakeholders involved. You can imagine that. Governments, airports, airlines, ground handling companies, customs. Well, the whole ecosystem of aviation is involved. The plan is there, but it needs still some fine-tuning before we can say that it can be adopted by all the stakeholders involved. That is the introduction, I think. I think it would be wise if, Joanne, that you share some main topics of that plan.
Thank you, Joost, for a very well summarized of our joint strategic plan and also our shared challenges and ambitions. Yes, I would like to also emphasize that it's still a draft. We are in our consultation rounds with all our stakeholders. But indeed, our plan is based on the three main pillars of our ambition, being affordability, efficiency, and sustainability. We have short-term, mid-term, and long-term recommendations. The short-term recommendations we would like to tackle as soon as possible between now and 2 years' time, and so on and so forth. The main topics or the main getaways from our joint strategic plan is that price is the biggest pain right now for our end users. So the DCCA airports are planning to harmonize the passenger facility charge to be introduced ultimately in 2025. That would mean for the passenger that it will be a discounted rate for inter-island flights, as the DCCA airports is also going to consider a pilot project, either a separate facility for inter-island flying or a separate lane to expedite inter-island flying on the pillar of efficiency and also on sustainability. We the DCCA airports is going to introduce an air service incentive program. This is to incentivize the airlines to adopt sustainable aviation, and as soon as they adopt a form of sustainable aviation, they can make use of this air service incentive program. So those are the clear examples that the DCCA airports are going to adopt on each pillar. We have many more recommendations, but because we are still in the consultation rounds with all our stakeholders, we would like to respect that period of consultation. And once we have everybody on board adopting this plan, we are very excited also to share it with all of you.
Yeah, that's very important. And I think that, maybe Martin, you can say something about the transition team.
Well, first of all, we all know the challenges around inter-island connectivity, and it has been already said, but everybody experienced this issue about availability of the tickets, about the price of the tickets. But we have to recognize that our local airlines are doing a tremendous job connecting our communities. So we want to say that we appreciate that, and we want to help, and we want to challenge those issues together to lower the cost, to make availability more, seats more available, and in the end more sustainable. And so we are very happy that we received the joint strategic plan in which all the recommendations are written down. And in order to execute it, we will review it with all the stakeholders, but we will also implement a transition platform. Consisting at least 3 members fully dedicated to implement the recommendations for all the stakeholders. So with that platform, we aim to execute all the recommendations. It's really important because if we work together towards that common ambition, we can really improve inter-island connectivity, the cost of it, the availability of it, and in the end, the sustainability of it. On the part of sustainability, I would like to add that it's not only about flying green, it's also about lowering costs, because the planes are around the corner. It's a matter of a few years, and it will happen here on our islands. And the beauty of it is that it's not only sustainable, it's also with much lower operating costs. So in order to transform our inter-island aviation, we are able to lower the cost. So here you have a certain win-win, which we aim for. That's basically what we're going to do next year. So I hope if we are in St. Martin next year, we will have further results on this project, and we will improve with our stakeholders inter-island connectivity.
Yeah, and if I may add, I mean, thank you everybody for going through the main points from the joint strategic plan and the way forward. But what you're seeing in front of you is 6 airports from 6 different islands. And we are challenging the governments, we are challenging all of the service providers, we are challenging all of the partners that we have on the other islands, our 6 islands, to join us, to try to do this together with us so we are able to improve the connectivity, to reduce the prices of travel, and also have a sustainable future when it comes to travel between the islands with aircrafts. It is incredibly important that we keep, family and friends, the possibility to visit, but also make it affordable for everybody, so everybody has the opportunity to go and visit your grandma, or visit your friends, or go to that musical festival, etc., etc. That is, right now we see Curaçao has a tremendous development on international travel coming to the island. Fantastic numbers that we see. But we mustn't forget the local market, in between the islands. We mustn't forget us that lives here. That's very, very important for all of the airports that are around the table here today. So we are challenging everybody who can pitch into this and help us improve the connectivity, make it sustainable, and make it affordable for all. I think that's what I would like to say. Megan, yeah.
Yeah, to add on, just to emphasize more on the inter-island connectivity, when we think of it, we're thinking of maybe the ABC Islands, and then you have the SSS Islands, but what we want to do is also connect the SSS Islands to the ABC Islands, because we're all interconnected, whether it's family, old school friends, and we need to make it possible that it's affordable, again, for us to connect. We've lost connections over the years due to affordability, and that's where our focus is right now. And as the airports, we are going to continue to push. And what we need is, as Johnny and Joost mentioned, is the government to agree, come along, let's talk about it, but we have to make it happen. We have a social responsibility. And I think it's important that we emphasize onto that. And for the sustainability, everybody, it's a bit far-fetched from now, but it's not that far either, because it's coming, as Joost mentioned, it's already here. It took years before people realized that electric cars were going to be a reality. And now you have charging stations already, or electric cars onto the island. So it's coming, whether we want to accept it or not, but we have to make more awareness of it to the public. And yeah, I believe that the acceptance from the social society is important, and that we also take them along. It's a journey for everybody. Brian?
Yes, so as last, there's a story here, a story of 6 sisters. We are all interconnected by family, by love, by music, by food. Ask yourself, when last you went to Sabre? When last did you went to Statia? Unless you were a police officer and you were forced to go for work purposes. But we're all interconnected with family. And in other cultures, even in the United States, for Thanksgiving, you go home every year. When last did that happen here? And it's our job as airports to make this more easier, make it more affordable, and help the airlines get to that point that all of us can afford and take the time to visit each other. Because I would love to come to Curacao and have a little sopito, or how you call it, a little soup of seafood. The first time I saw it, a seafood soup with a little beef in it. And for sure you want to go to Sabre also to have a drink called Sabre Spice. And of course, St. Martin also has its uniqueness with French and Dutch cuisine. And of course, don't forget that family aspect that is important. But it is something we're doing collectively for us to interconnect with each other. And I think that is the story here. 6 sisters of the Dutch Antilles, formerly Nederlandse Antillen, now on our own, that we need to reconnect each other. Thank you.
Yeah. And before I hand over to Joost again, today we will demonstrate some of this sustainability that the future will bring us. It will happen. In half an hour, 40 minutes time, we will carry out a demonstration of an electrical remote control drone that will carry blood plasma from the blood bank here in Utrabanda, that will be flying over the sea towards the airport and land just outside here. And you will be witnessing that one today. It is to demonstrate that it's possible to transport pharmaceuticals using this new technology that we are talking about here. Yes, this is not people, but it is actually something that has real value. It's pharmaceuticals to help people. And we will show you that this one will work, and we will show that to you today. And that is part of the sustainability part of what we want to implement. Joost, please.
Yeah, well, that is a fantastic thing to do, to show the world that the innovation is already there, right? So the new chapters are already there. Last year we had an electric aircraft in Aruba. Maybe you may have heard about it. It was a 2-seater, so too small to use for commercial aviation, but it demonstrated clearly that electric aviation is around the corner. And of course the ranges are always the challenge, but because of the vicinity of the islands to each other, I think the first type of electric aircrafts which will come to the market can bridge can connect the 2 islands already with the first prototype. And today, as Johnny said, yeah, we see another use of electric transportation. That's for blood plasma. That's another tool. And I think that is very fantastic to see the overlap of the communities. I think that it was clear what Brian said, that everyone has a sister or a family member or an old friend from school on one of the other islands, or need the other islands for medical services, for example. And what we will see today is a clear demonstration of what innovation can bring to the communities on the islands for a very important part of life, that is your own health. And so I think that is the basic, the core of what we want to share with you, that we are collaborating over the islands with an innovative approach, and in the end we want to deliver something which is good for the people, the communities living on one of the islands, and to bring them closer together for all kinds of purposes. Thank you.
Do you have any questions? Yes. Please.
Yes, good morning. My name is Aldrich from Pure South Chronicle. I've been covering DCCA since its beginning, and of course, it's nice what you're saying. I've been hearing it before, but I wanted to know from you is, have you seen any direct results now? I mean, it's almost 3 years that you've been working together. Have you seen any direct results from, like, tangible capacities from your cooperation? It doesn't matter which airport, but have you seen something that say, hey, this has come out of our cooperation together?
Thank you. That's a very good and reasonable question. I think if we start last year, the first result was that we shared an ambition and we saw the opportunity together for our communities. So that was step one. We also saw that it really could happen because we had this demonstration last year, and we will have a second demonstration right around the corner, that it is possible. And the third result is that we worked really hard with the task force this year. And the joint strategic plan was presented, and that is a result on its own, because now we know what to do in order to achieve the ambition. The fourth one is that we decided to start this transition platform in order to execute the plan, the next step. And we made a lot of progress in understanding the needs of our customers and understand the environment that we're in. Because once again, we recognize that the airlines have a very high cost, volatile environment. They are doing the best they can. And together with our stakeholders, we have to work on that high-cost environment, actually. And the first step is looking at ourselves. What are we going to do in order to lower the cost for the airlines, for the passengers? This is a clear recommendation in the Joint Strategic Plan, and in the next months we will work on it, and we will find a way to implement it in order to have real results, which is so much needed in the market for the passengers.
Yeah, but is it nice? That's good.
Thanks.
But what I'm saying is tangible.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard before that the whole process to get to the airplane for a 20-minute or 15-minute flight is too long.
Yep.
Have you done something? I mean, is it in your hands to change? So, because I've traveled before and I had to come here to the airport 2 hours, you know, just to go to Aruba.
Exactly.
You know, so what I'm asking is, has these conferences given tangible results for the travel?
Let me answer, let me put some perspective to this. So there are a few stakeholders. You have customs, of course, which is the Minister of Justice. You have 6 different islands, and of course we have 3 different countries, and you have, of course, the best islands. So the awareness that we're creating here is, of course, the first step. But you also have to remember on the supply, the offerings. We've had, you know, the landscape, and Martin said it good, the landscape for the airlines is not an easy landscape. We've seen many come and many go. The only stable one out there still, and that is serving, is from St. Martin. That is Winair. It's a little small aircraft, airline, but is it sustainable for them to, you know, really develop this? And where as airports seeing this, and that's why we're pushing it forward, this initiative, to make it easier for the airlines also to give that supply and demand offering. Reduce the rates, make it easier to fly between each other, and that is the first step. This is our second conference, and we've seen the traction that it's starting to take. The ministries are getting involved. the different stakeholders are getting involved. So it's going to take a while. In government, they're not always the fastest, but sometimes you need to start putting the building blocks for this initiative. And that is, I think, what we're doing here. Tangibles, I think we're starting to get some rates from the airlines, and we're starting to see them to work together. I think that is also a good step moving forward. But the first thing I think here is the awareness and the plan, the blueprint.
Yes, please. You can do it in Dutch, yes. You can, yeah.
Because Hans van der Velde, the CEO of Wizz Air, said, and I quote, we vliegen gedwongen met oude en tweedehands vliegtuigen. Niet omdat we het willen, maar omdat we de kosten laten betalen. We kunnen niet eens investeren in nieuwe vliegtuigen, omdat dan de tarieven automatisch omhoog gaan. Hoe denken jullie, vraag ik zo, niet dat ik, dat we na 2030 of 2040, stellen dan het net horen in je aantal, met splinternieuwe high-tech vliegtuigen gaan vliegen. Ik hoor uit die woorden dat jullie ambities ten opzichte van de airlines bijna op het verkeerde evenredig lijken. En Hans, die komt er dadelijk naartoe, maar dan ga je niet met ons praten.
Ja, dat is wel een goeie.
Dat antwoord daar heb ik niet op gehoord. Misschien dat ik dat
Nou, dat is een terecht punt. Ik geef een antwoord in Nederlands, omdat ik de vraag in Nederlands krijg. Ik hoop dat dat oké is. Maar ik denk dat Hans een goed punt heeft. Het begint natuurlijk bij het sharen van een ambitie. En we hebben het over innovatie. En degene die het straks moeten gaan doen, dat zijn natuurlijk de airlines. En die brengen vervolgens natuurlijk het realisme in. En die twee paden moeten bij elkaar komen. En ik denk dat dat ook heel duidelijk zichtbaar was tijdens de conventie de afgelopen 2 dagen. Dat die twee paden bij elkaar kunnen komen. Niemand twijfelt eraan dat elektrisch vliegen uiteindelijk een keer een oplossing gaat zijn voor het vliegen tussen 2 eilanden. De timing is natuurlijk wel een heel ander vraagstuk. En daar moet het opportunisme van de innovatie en het vooruit willen en meegaan met de innovaties moeten samenkomen met het realisme die de airlines gisteren hebben gezegd. Het praten met de airlines, het involveren van andere stakeholders moet gebeuren. En de vraag was terecht, denk ik, waar zijn nou de tangible facts? Maar als je kijkt naar hoeveel stakeholders je af moet om het uiteindelijk te laten draaien, het hele plan, dan gaat het over 6 eilanden heen. De Nederlandse overheid heeft daar nog een rol in. De overheden op de eilanden natuurlijk onderling bij het faciliteren van in- en uitreisrequirements is een belangrijke rol. De airports spelen uiteindelijk een faciliterende rol. Een hele belangrijke voor de airportprocessen. En daar de operaties in te versoepelen voor de inter-island travelers. Dat gaan we ook allemaal doen. Maar je moet het als totale groep van mensen, een stakeholdergroep, moet je het gaan doen. En het is taaie materie soms, waarin we de andere stakeholders ook challengen met dit soort uitspraken. En de groep, de airline, Hans van der Velde, is natuurlijk één, die voelt zich daardoor gechallenged. Dat is goed, want dan komt die discussie die we nodig hebben tussen de partijen op gang. De timing, voordat het elektrische vliegtuig er is en daadwerkelijk vliegt tussen 2 eilanden, kan je al een hele hoop doen op die andere pilaren om affordability te bevorderen en om de efficiëntie te bevorderen. Dus we hebben inderdaad de intentie uitgesproken om te gaan kijken of we voor de local citizens die vliegen tussen 2 zustereilanden de tarieven van de airports kunnen verlagen. Maar die moeten uiteraard wel doorgegeven worden door de airline aan de end-user. Dus we hebben die airline daar weer in nodig. En niet één airline, maar alle airlines die vliegen tussen de. Maar we hebben ook de governments nodig daarin. Die bezig zijn met het ontwikkelen van nieuwe taxes. Voor hele goede doeleinden. Maar die local residents, die vliegt tussen 2 eilanden, die moet uiteindelijk dat wel tegen een affordable tariff kunnen doen. Nou, voordat je al die boxjes gedekt hebt en alle stakeholders aan boord hebt, dat is de grootste challenge waar we nu voor staan. Het lanceren van de ambitie is goed, maar het aan boord krijgen van de stakeholders, aviation, de stakeholder business, is de uitdaging waar we nu voor staan. En uiteindelijk zullen we de resultaten daarvan hopelijk kunnen presenteren volgend jaar in Sint Maarten.
Toen was de eerste claim was, de consument gaat aan de prijs.
Ja.
stroom. We zijn nu 43% van onze energiebehoefte van Nederland als de molens draaien. Die 43% is sustainable. Ik heb nog nooit zoveel betaald voor
Nee.
Dus
Price are going up.
data baseren is dit van een onderdeel van het praatje waarin die sustainability uiteindelijk weg is.
Nee, nogmaals, het elektrisch vliegen of sustainability, dat komt achteraan. De andere twee pilaren als affordability en efficiency kan je nu al aanpakken met de huidige vluchten. Door bijvoorbeeld, wat ik net probeerde uit te leggen, de airporttarieven te verlagen voor de passagiers die vliegen tussen twee eilanden met een local airline. Zolang de airline bereid zou zijn dat door te zetten naar de end-user, heeft de end-user, de passenger, direct voordeel daar. Maar dan heb je de airline daar wel in nodig. En als de government of andere, de tourism authorities, komen met nieuwe taxes, die weer in de ticketprijs een plek krijgen voor het verbeteren van safety requirements of voor andere doeleinden, wat op zich goede doeleinden zijn, dan gaat die ticketprijs omhoog. Dus wij zeggen, our call is, probeer nou die inter-island traveler tussen twee zustereilanden uit te zonderen voor al die andere taxes die er nog bij gaan komen om te voorkomen dat die ticketprijs verder omhoog gaat. En we willen hem juist verlagen. Dus uiteindelijk het elektrisch vliegen komt in de tijd achteraan. Daarvoor kan je op de twee andere pilaren van efficiency en van affordability al stappen zetten. Maar niet alleen als airport. Wij kunnen het verhaal vertellen, we kunnen in onze eigen vlees snijden als het moet. Maar uiteindelijk moeten de andere partners dat wel gaan overnemen en het doorzetten aan de end-user, de traveler. Wij bepalen uiteindelijk niet de ticketprijs. Onze kost als airport zit in de ticketprijs. Als wij iets verlagen, verwachten we dat het ook wordt doorgegeven aan de end-user. Dat speelveld zitten we in.
Maar die stakeholders die you said, who's will make that DCCA?
Yes. So the story here too, remember, and I'm switching quick to English, if you look at the formula that works for us, is every big airport has a national carrier. So if you look at the airport of St. Martin, it has a Winair carrier, and it's sustained over the 60 years. We have to zoom into that because it works in the territory of, the Windward Islands. But we also need to work together to make sure. And the only way this is going to happen if we harmonize and work together. And that is the first step we're trying to showcase here. Everyone needs to look in the same direction.
And if I may add a few things also to your original question. I think the airlines are very interested in the opportunity, but I pointed out a few major challenges. One of them is, of course, funding. And in order to get funding, you need to have a comprehensive plan. So that's our first step. We now have the plan, and coming year we will look at, for example, the Dutch government in order to help us execute this plan, because it's costly. But if we execute the plan, we can lower the cost of the airline. And at Bonaire we say, poco poco pero seguro. So step by step we will get there, with short-term actions and long-term actions.
One more question, because we have a takeoff of the drone. One question, yes, please. Yes.
The previous conference in Aruba, I asked to have the plan or any written documentation about it. Up till today, I didn't receive it, although you all showed willingness to share it with me.
Okay.
Can you promise that what has been discussed here, including the plan, that it will be shared with the press within a week?
Yeah, that can be the case when it is consulted with all the stakeholders and adopted by the stakeholders. So what we started the conference by saying that the plan is there, the task force has delivered a plan already, but it has not been adopted and it needs to be consulted further with the stakeholders involved, mainly the governments and the airlines and the institutes representing the governments, the civil aviation authorities. And as the moment that they have seen it, they have improved it, so you wish, and we can adopt the plan with all the stakeholders, it can be shared with every one of you.
So not next week, but 2 weeks later.
That depends on the willingness of the stakeholders to discuss it.
But it's also a process where you knew you need to do wide consultations. Of course, you need to do that. Yeah, yes. But it's well noted. We have to close it there. We have to close it there. We have a drone coming in a few minutes. It's taking off quite soon. We also have the honorable ministers, Mr. Saintje, Mr. Cooper. We have representatives from the Dutch government here also. So I would like to recognize them. But very, very briefly, I would like to say thank you so much for taking the time to come here and cover this short press conference. We will now move into the second phase. I'm sorry, Brian, you want to say something?
Don't forget to tell them to meet us in St. Martin next year.
Yeah, and of course, Brian is saying that you have to come to St. Martin next year. We will see what we can do with the tickets, if we can help you with some good tickets there. So the drone, I don't know, Fine, I will probably say something, but very briefly, we have a window of 15 minutes we gotten from the air navigation services. The flight from the blood bank down in Otrabanda will take 14 and a half minutes. The exact takeoff time is 10:05, so it is in 7 minutes. So for those of you, like the journalists and the media that needs to prepare for taking pictures and so on, you have done approximately a little bit more than 20 minutes to be ready to take. It will land out here, just in front of you here, and it will be received by Minister Saintje and Minister Cooper with blood plasma from the blood bank. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Let me just say one thing more. Following the drone, the landing of the drone, there will be a short press briefing by the ministers that will hopefully take a few questions inside here. Yeah.
report after deviation, proceed direct Badao. Bravo Alpha Delta Oscar Whiskey. Copa 267, servicio radar terminado, contacte.
Corazón buena, el Century 152 con ustedes y estamos volando a Mipu en la salida ascendiendo para 310.
Roger, radio service terminated. Contact Beatrix approach 118.0. Good day.
Hey, still a 255, bye-bye.
Sí. Johnny, me ahí. How are you, brother? You go to home? Fine dan? Bom, hope contento. Nós está aqui para presenciar algo histórico que sucedeu awe na Corsou, caminho com for de outra banda, Blood Bank, a transportar via drone, sangue e barrele aqui na Jet Center, que está no aeroporto. Hoje em dia, Curaçao International Airport. Pues, hasta momento, emotivo, caminho com nossa experiência aqui. De com essa aqui está muito importante, para sobre essa aqui está futuro de segura transportação entre Isla ABC para começar, caminho com o por baiting sistema em cada outro, caminho com muito fácil, lié e eficiente, para transportar não somente sangue, que tem caso aqui, mas também outro produto farmacêutico de importância, que não tem na isla, que pode transportar na lié para outra isla, então isso significa que pode salvar a vida de gente. Então essa é a intenção. Naturalmente, isso aqui está pilot project, caminho com nossa cielo, projeto piloto, pero de futuro cercano, ele vai estar em ter indústria de transportar a parte farmacêutico e of sangue de tipo de, como se chama em inglês, unmanned, que é drone, não tem, gewoon na terra te sturen e não tem nenhuma outra maneira of gente de encher, simplesmente essa é parte que você usa drone pe. Mas é interessante, é trago elétrico, então essa aqui também é pilot para vai em direção de elétrico vliegen, que é de parte elétrico. Que é no momento não de emoção, momento não caminho Corsou, dia mais agora pôr riba mapa histórico mundial, que nós está dando step importante de tecnologia nova. Tecnológica relevante.
Danke. Tremenda experiência, algo histórico. Me sluit me mes aan riba palavra na de meu colega ministro Cooper e também agradecer Unitur que a hasi a demonstração vira possível. Me não que vai de mesmo local não com meu colega Pape, se não se cai de repetição, pero me que ilustrar que estava a dia de finalização de Dutch Caribbean Corporation de airports não caminha toda isla não forma Nederlands Antillen a participar caminha nossa mira aqui que tudo é possível essa aqui está inovação para o futuro pero me tenho bisa mesmo coisas que nós que essa aqui para transportar de maneira nossa mira que demonstração que sangue pero nós que se ele também conosco laga nós gente não também vai de isla para outro de uma maneira muito mais fácil. Nós saco airlift price na agora que topi alto, pero netamente a conferência com a nossa série que demonstração aqui está caminho nossa bank back para crescer nós gente na família na negócio na é parte de governo na então assim cresce back inovação entre a isla na pues para bem natura stakeholders na para bem natura isla romana que estava de visita no Corsão, então ave nos porta testigo de momento histórico de nossa história, de nosso país. Thank you all for being on Curaçao, Bonaire, Seixas, Ceiba, Aruba, St. Martin, of course. Thank you, Faina. So it was a wonderful week, and I appreciate it a lot. Thank you all.
Ja, ik kan alleen maar eens zijn met de ministers dat het een zeer innovatief project is. Ik vertegenwoordig hier bij de Dutch Caribbean Hospital Alliance eigenlijk de samenwerking, net als dat de luchthavens hebben, over de eilanden. In dit geval is het samen met de bloedbank, waarin wij dus specifieke schaarse middelen just in time kunnen brengen om echt toe te kunnen bijdragen aan het leven van een patiënt. En dit is een van de eerste nieuwe middelen waarbij we point-to-point kunnen gaan vliegen tussen de verschillende eilanden, rechtstreeks, hopelijk in de toekomst, van ziekenhuis naar ziekenhuis.
Hello. Yes? Bom, para mim, para nós de Banco de Sangue, para nós, essa aqui está uma ideia, fora com ela terceira dilante, Felix terceira dilante, nós tomamos braço abrir, para nós de Banco de Sangue, nós queremos de cambio, nós queremos de inovação, e assim de maneira para você seguir vai adiante, para você seguir progressar. E já, mirando com a Holanda, acaba nós, romanos, da São Quinta, sendo uso acaba de drone, fora nós temos de nós meses também essa aqui. E estamos trabalhando com nós junto com a Fundação Maria Dal, que é Banco de Sangue aqui de Corsau, nós trabalhamos hope close com St. Martin, Fundação Maria Dal, com Aruba, e quase todo dia tem intercâmbio de produtos de sangue entre islas aqui, que trova essa aqui chance sumamente grande para nós ter o braço e lá nós concretizar para sombra essa aqui tem maneira que tem que vir. Prático, lié e assim ajuda a escapar a vida. Thank you.
I just want to conclude. I mean, like everything has been said here. I mean, like I would like to thank everyone who made this possible. Specifically, I would to first of all thank Fundación Maridal to let us move into this space. I would like to thank the Blood Bank for letting us work together with you on this very, very, what can I say, new project that we have, and also to both Minister Cooper and to Minister Saintje for letting us do this. Also, I would like to thank Avi, the drone operator, for a fantastic performance today. Yes, we had a little bit of technical issues in the beginning, but that's always the thing when it's new things. You know, it takes a little bit of time, but it worked out perfectly. And to everybody else who has been here today to help us and support us, to Josh, Josia, you know, like from our own organization who made this all happen, for all of the other airport CEOs that are here, thank you so much. This is the future. This is really indeed the future. This will not be the last time you see drones transporting blood plasma or pharmaceuticals from this airport to the other islands. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Yeah.